Hi everyone, welcome to the AM Private Training YouTube channel. Today, the topic is going to be how you can plan your own private soccer training session in 3 simple steps. This is useful for coaches who have their team and want to do specific work for a certain player. This is useful for even players themselves who want to do that extra work out on the field and don't have access to a private trainer. You can copy the same exact method. It takes literally 30 minutes or less, and you can come up with your own training sessions to improve yourself as a player. This is also specified towards private soccer trainers who are looking to improve their methods in bettering their clients and adding value to them in order to make them the best players they possibly can help them become. I have 3 years of experience of being a private soccer trainer. I've trained kids all the way from the age of 5 years old to 20, and throughout this time, I've noticed everyone who trains, they want to see results session upon session. And the most important part in order to be able to see these results is a plan of action. Now, this plan of action is the first step that we're going to discuss. First thing you need is to be prepared. And in order to do this, you need 2 things: a blank piece of paper and a pen. That's all you need. Literally costs you less than $5. Get a sketchbook. I have one right here. I use this for all my sessions that I plan. And get a pen. Go to the dollar store, get yourself that, and you're ready to go. After that, you need to know what is it that you want to improve on, or what is it that you want the player you're training to improve on. What is the goal? What is your objective with this session? There has to be one solid goal that you want to improve on. Let's say you're training a center back. Let's say your center back is 10 years old. His first touch is not too good. He's not good at receiving a pass. How can you train that? How can you help him become the best player possible and add value to him in order to improve his session? I'm gonna put on these recording glasses and I'm gonna give you a point of view of how I plan my sessions with this paper right here. So let me go ahead and connect. We have our paper. For recording purposes, I'm using a whiteboard, but we wrote down the player's name, how old he is, and what position he plays, but most importantly, the objective of the session. And our objective in this session is to improve his first touch. Now that we have that, it's time to be creative. So, first part with any session is we need to do the warm-up. How can we warm him up to get him ready for the main portion of the session, which is to improve his first touch? So it's always important to label who is who in your drawings. That's me. Coach, and the player is right here. He's gonna have a ball right here. This is a pole. The X's in my drawings are cones. And shout out to my good friend Malachi, who's an excellent trainer. He taught me this method of planning your sessions, and it's worked for me like a charm since then. So I set up 6 cones diagonal apart from each other, 2 poles, probably about 20-15 yards from each other. I'm gonna have my player do these things. This warm-up is gonna take 10 to 20 minutes in a 1-hour session in total. And this is what we're gonna do. First thing, jog there, back, paddle, back. Perfect. Then we're gonna zigzag forward and back from the cones just to get the blood flow going. And then we'll open the gates, close the gates on the way back. That is the first part of the session. Now, I really recommend when you do your sessions, don't look up videos on YouTube, don't look up videos on Instagram. If you were a former player, remember what's some sort of stuff you did with your coach that you enjoyed doing, and what's some things that you haven't enjoyed doing, and try to do the stuff that you did enjoy doing and implement it into your sessions. Think about what's the stuff that really improved you the most as a player. Was there any times you went out to train by yourself? What were some of the things you did that you really saw brought you results, and try to implement that into your sessions? If you're a player yourself, think about what you need to work on and what equipment you're working with. As far as me, this is the equipment that I know I have, and it's kind of nice, especially when you're just starting, to have a list of what stuff you have so you know what you have to work with. I know I have 4 agility poles. I know I have probably 30 cones, so I'll write a bunch of them right there. I know I have 10 balls. And I have 2 mini goals to score on. So having all this in mind, I can plan my first part of the session that's with the ball. So this is what we'll do. This will be our warm-up with the ball, since I'm a center back, or the player I'm training is a center back, and I want him to improve his first touch. So we'll have him start right here. As always, label who's who. Player, label where you're gonna stand with what equipment you're gonna have there. and what equipment you're gonna have to set up for the drill. I think this drill will take 10 minutes. And you have to think about your objective the entire time. What do you want to do? Improve the first touch. So how can we do that? What are things that are needed in order to have a good first touch? Let's write some bullet points. So you need to be on your toes. You need to be able to move with agility and speed, react, think, and act quickly. And you need to be calm. So how can we incorporate all these things into this drill right here? Well, how about let's add some colored cones at the end. Red right here, blue right here. That will make us react. So let's do the first part of the first touch. A one touch back to me, right here. Then the player's gonna back pedal to the back of the pole, second action. Then I'm gonna play him the ball. He's gonna take it in behind that pole and dribble it to the other pole. As soon as he gets there, it's third action, fourth action, he's going to react to whatever color I call. If I say blue, he's going to dribble around the blue, get around it, dribble it back and pass to me. If I say red, he's going to go around this way and do the exact same thing. Now, depending on the player, you could progress it to make it harder or regress it to make it easier. If you're training a 5-year-old, for example, it's going to be quite difficult to get all these concepts into one drill. So it's better to make the exercises a bit easier. Instead of passing it into him, can you maybe roll the ball into him and take things a little slower? But if it's a more advanced player, let's say a 16-year-old, can you drive the ball into him? Can you throw the ball and make it bounce into him? Can you throw it at his chest, at his head, just to really challenge him and get those learning objectives that you want to get, which is to improve the first touch? So that would be my warm-up. Let's move on to the second phase of the practice. We erase some space into the board. Now we're going to do the second phase, the second 20 minutes of the session. I usually break them up into 3 parts: the warm-up part, the second part, and then the final part with some end product. This second part is going to be different types of first touches. I know a center back needs to be able to control a ball that's coming in the air to him. So I came up with this drill right here, and it's going to take some time at first if you haven't come up with any drills. It took me about 3 or 4 sessions before I finally started getting the creative juices flowing and coming up with some pretty good drills by myself. And like anything with practice, you're going to get better at it over time, but don't get discouraged if you can't come up with something good the first time, because it takes trial and error in order to be good at something. You just have to persist and eventually you'll get it. So I have my player stand right here behind the poles. That's my player, always label. Then I stand right here with the balls. And we're gonna work on a game that I invented. I have the ball in my hand. So let's make a note with the star. Ball in my hand. And I'm going to toss in the air the ball to this side or this side. And I'm not going to tell the player which side I'm going to toss it in. But I tell the player, you have 1 bounce to get a touch on that ball and bring it down to the ground before you dribble it back into here and give me a good pass on the ground through the gate. That's how you get 1 point. And we play to 10 good points. If he does it, or if she does it, and gives me a bad pass that I have to reach for and doesn't get it right to my feet, and maybe their first touch went all over the place, then I'm not going to count the point. I hold my players to high standards. That's how they're going to improve. But this is a fantastic drill I came up with to really test the first touch. And I do this till they get 10 points, like I said. And if you want to progress it, you could start doing 0 bounces, and you have to control it before it bounces. Or then you could add, you control the ball right here. Let's say if I throw it here, then you have to dribble to this opposite gate, do a skill, turn back to the middle, and then pass it back to me. This would take maybe 15 minutes with the explanation, the demonstration, and the slow buildup of speed in the speed of the drill in order to build it up to a good game-like speed. 15 minutes is what I would recommend this usually take. And from then we're done with the second phase of the practice, including the water break. We're 40 minutes in, and it's time to move on to the last part of the practice where we have some end product. So let's get to it. All right, we're on the last part of the session. It's time to add some end product. You always have to work the core objective, which is first touch in this case. If it was dribbling, you already worked a lot on your dribbling. Now you have to add some end product. Can we finish it with a pass to a target out on the field? Can we finish it with a shot on goal? Can we finish it with a driven ball? In this instance, since it's a center back, let's work on a driven pass. So I know what materials I have to work with. I know what equipment I have. I have 2 goals and I have 2 poles that I could set up right here. And what I'm going to do is my player is going to start next to this pole. And because I want to work this driven pass into here or into here, I'm going to start right here with all the balls. And my player is going to check away from the pole into the space. 1 touch back to me. Quickly backpedal to the next pole. 1 touch back to me. Then I'm going to play the ball. He's going to open his hips and receive facing forward right here. So he could take that touch into space, his first touch. And you drive the ball into the goal. You make sure that you incorporate your objective, your first touch. You're doing it several times throughout this drill, especially at the end, setting it up into space, getting your head up. And you could incorporate some coaching points as well. Being light on your toes, like we were saying. Head up to see where the goals are. Positive first touch, looking to play forward as much as possible. And quick, agile movements. This way, when you have this written down, you know the points that you want to see your player do during the drill. If you're not seeing them, you pause, explain how you want to see them, and then let them have another crack at it until they get it. The way to progress this is obviously you could bounce the ball into the player, make it more challenging to get that first touch. You could throw the ball in the air. But that does it for how to plan your own training session for your clients, or if you're a player yourself. If you found this of any value, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more valuable videos in the future. Leave down in the comments what type of sessions you want to see or what tutorials you want to see as well. I could make one on how to get clients, on how to find fields for yourself to use, and on what equipment you should start out with in order to become a soccer trainer. But besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Leave any feedback down below, and later.